is Dr. Bev Knox, and you are listening to my psychology tutorials. Learn psychology while you sleep.
In this lesson, we will be learning all about prejudice and discrimination. Prejudice is a widespread phenomenon present in all societies of the world. What varies across societies are the particular social groups that are the victims of prejudice and the degree to which societies enable or discourage discrimination. What role does prejudice play on self-esteem? Often, but not always, prejudice leads to feelings of inferiority on the part of those who are the recipients of prejudiced expressions. Let us go over a progress report. The intensity of the expression of prejudice in the United States has lessened over the last several decades. As would be predicted, the self-esteem of individuals in discriminated against groups also has improved. Although this progress is real, prejudice is still a significant social problem, according to research. Social psychologists define prejudice as a hostile or negative attitude towards a distinguishable group of people based solely on their group membership. Stereotypes, on the other hand, is the cognitive component. Stereotypes, while related to prejudice, are different. While prejudice is defined in terms of a negative emotional response, stereotypes denote both the positive and negative traits that people assign to members solely by virtue of the membership of a particular social group. The behavioral component is discrimination. So, discrimination denotes actual behavior. It is defined as an unjustified, negative, or harmful action towards members of a group solely because of their membership in that group. So, what causes prejudice? Well, as a broad-based and powerful attitude, prejudice has many causes. We will review 4 aspects of social life that bring about prejudice. The way we think, the way we assign meaning or make attributions, the way we allocate resources, and the way we conform to social rules. Prejudice is enabled by the human tendency to organize people into in-groups and out-groups. The processes of social cognition are important in the creation and maintenance of stereotypes and prejudice. Categorization of people into groups lead to a perception of in-group and out-groups. In-group bias means that we all treat members of our own group more positively than members of the out group. Another consequence of categorization is the perception of out-group members. The fundamental attribution error applies to prejudice. We tend to overestimate the role of dispositional forces when making sense out of others' behavior. Stereotypes can be described as the ultimate attribution error, making negative dispositional attributions about an entire outgroup. When outgroup members act non-stereotypically, we tend to make situational attributions about them, whereby maintaining our stereotypes. Let us now go over prejudice and economic competition. Realistic conflict theory states that prejudice is the irreversible byproduct of real conflict between groups for limited resources, whether involving economics, power, or status. Competition for resources leads to discrimination against the competing outgroup. Scapegoating is a process whereby frustrated and angry people tend to displace their aggression from its real source to the convenient target, an outgroup that is disliked, visible, and relatively powerless. Institutionalized racism and institutionalized sexism are norms operating throughout the society's structure. Normative conformity, or the desire to be accepted and to quote-unquote fit in, leads many people to go along with stereotyped beliefs and not challenge them. Modern racism is an example of a shift in normative rules about prejudice. Today, people have learned to hide their prejudice in situations where it would lead them to be labeled as racist. So, how can prejudice be reduced? The most common way to reduce prejudice is through contact, bringing in-group and out-group members together. However, mere contact is not enough and can even exaggerate existing negative attitudes. Instead, contact situations must include the following 6 conditions: mutual independence, a common goal, equal status, informal, interpersonal contact, multiple contacts, and social norms of equality.